a lot of dark fruits, dry fruits. Welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Lüning, Horst Lüning. I'm the master taster of Whisky.com, and today we are in Switzerland. We have a Säntis Alpstein IX. Here on my cask, it's 7 years old, bottle 2014, 48% ABV, and, be careful, half a liter bottle. The Säntis malt. It's called the Swiss Highlander, and it's from the town of Appenzell. You know this cheese, the Swiss cheese, Appenzell? This is the region where it comes from. Finest selection, single malt whiskey edition Alpstein. Alpstein is Säntis, as the whiskey is called, is a mountain in Switzerland, which is the very last one before going into the flats of the lower part of Switzerland, going over to Lake Constance and Germany. And in this flat area, relatively flat area, the town of Appenzell resides in the south of St. Gallen, I think. The Switzerland is divided into several cantons, and those cantons have weird names. There's the Appenzell Innerrhoden, Appenzell Ausserrhoden, and the Säntis, the mountain Säntis, quite high, 7,600 feet, is in the middle of the boundary where three of those cantons meet. St. Gallen is the third one. Innerrhoden, Ausserrhoden, St. Gallen, there the Säntis is, and a few kilometers, miles to the west, there's the Alpstein. And the town of Appenzell is a little bit in the north, so they always look to these mountains, and so they call this whiskey Säntis. There are always tastings of this Säntis on very high locations in Switzerland, up to 10,000 feet. And I think they hold a record for tasting whiskey in the highest place on earth. Don't know if they in the Himalaya somewhere. In Europe, say in Europe. So Sikkim might be higher. From India. If you're going that high up into the mountains, your tasting buds does not work well. If you're going in a plane, then the air pressure in the plane is fixed to 7,500 feet typically, and then the chef de cuisine has to add 30% more salt, 30% more spices to your food, so that you have the same feeling as if you were in flat land. So tasting whiskey in a very high place, no good idea. Really not. You will taste less. Go down underwater. Yeah. The company which started to produce Säntis is a brewery called Brewery Locher. And this whiskey here on the back, edition Alpstein, edition number 9, so the 9th bottling, November 15th, 2014, finish in port, 7 years, bottle number 1094 of 2,200, 48% ABV, and there's finish in port. And the original casks used for maturation were beer casks. The company is a brewery. So what would I expect? A little bit of bitterness from the hops used in beer. We will see soon. Again, plastic cork. And port. So quite dark. From my knowledge, this one is uncolored. I don't know if it's unchill filtered, but definitely, no, not but definitely. I think that it is uncolored. I'm not quite sure. This is too few. A lot of dark fruits, dry fruits, caramel, and cherries. This light, intense smell of cherries. And some nuttiness coming up like almonds. So this one is a whiskey, no fruit schnapps. Definitely a whiskey, and it has incorporated the taste of the port wine casks. Wonderful, and the beer cask is not smellable. Perhaps I'm able to taste it. Yeah. Intense, light bitterness. I think that's hops. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely. Close to beer. Yeah. It was matured for 4 years in a beer barrel, and then 3 years finish in port wine casks. So 4 years in a beer cask. Beer casks are typically small, like 50 liters. So less than half of a quarter cask. So there you have a strong movement of aromas from the cask wall, from the staves into the whiskey. And then 3 years in a port cask, that means an awful lot. A heavy lot, an incredible amount of taste from these port casks, as well as the fruitiness of the port. And this together, hops, oakiness, a medium to long aftertaste. Most of the taste is gone already. Weird. Ginger, peppery, dark chocolate. This is all the intense cask of the port. And then in the back, some bitterness remembers me on hops. Very, very complex. So an interesting single malt whiskey. There are several different batches and editions and so on the market, so it's quite difficult to have more than or the same bottle again, or if you're going out for having such a bottle, it might be difficult. So the distillery is small, but increasing numbers of bottles reach the market. And this started in Switzerland because they changed the duty on alcohol. In former times, there were import spirits had a higher duty than local spirits. Well, to protect their own fruit schnapps industry. And so people started to produce their own whiskey inside the country cheaper. Then people said, well, oh, whiskey, that's good. And they started to import. And then regulators said, well, there's no need to have different duty on those bottles. And today Switzerland is a good country for consuming Scotch whiskey if you're staying in a hotel. Yeah. Thank you for watching. There's more to come. Stay tuned as always.